My name's Steph and I have survived 20 suicide attempts. Between the age of kind of 12 and 16, before I truly knew what suicide was, I just knew that I couldn't be alive, that I didn't want to wake up every single day in this pain, and the world was still the same. It was never changing. It was just abuse, pain, trauma, and I just felt like I couldn't escape that. You wish that it's going to change. You wish that you're going to wake up tomorrow and that it's going to be different and that you'll feel better, and I wish that a lot. I would pray going to sleep and it wouldn't change, and to me suicide was the only way out. And it was hard. I had siblings to think about and who I wanted to protect from the abuse that I went through, but it just got to a point where I couldn't even do that. I couldn't wake up every day feeling this unbearable pain that there's no words to describe how painful suicide is and how heartbreaking it is, knowing that if you do have people that you love, that you're going to leave them behind and have no control on what's going to happen to them once you leave. I think as I got older and kind of towards the last few attempts, there were some people that came along that were really unexpected, like the police negotiator that saved my life. I think when I was about 16, 17, who phoned me and wouldn't stop phoning me when I'd went missing, and he really, really annoyed me, and I really was really angry at him and really frustrated, but he kept phoning, and just that persistence to keep trying to get through to me, and every time he would say something so minor, like, how's the weather, are you not freezing, just like really like small remarks, but I'd stay on the phone longer each time and speak to him, and that had a huge impact on me to the point where I actually stopped the attempt and went and met him because of just the persistence and how often he phoned me, and he actually showed that day that he cared so much. And there's been other people. I have had a college lecturer ask me outright if I've been suicidal, which was a surprise. You're not expecting a college lecturer, and you get worried that you're going to get kicked out of college because I was in a health and social care course, so I'm worried that if they knew that I was suicidal, am I going to get kicked out? Am I going to get punished for feeling that way? But my lecturer outright asked me, are you suicidal? Which took me aback, but it opened that conversation to talk to her and to tell her I am. And I got the help that I needed at that time, and that was because they were trained, and it was amazing. And there's been some other people along the way that at the time I wish I realised the impact that they had had, like befriending services and a lot of third sector organisations that would come in and support me, and I'd push them away all the time. I'd try my hardest to push them away, but they got into my head and they helped me and were there when I needed them most. So I started to feel better when I was 18, about kind of halfway into being 18. I did 2 attempts that year and I was really struggling, and then I was listened to and I was finally believed in what I'd been through in the past, which I hadn't ever felt before. I hadn't felt believed in that way, and I was given a chance to share my story and realised how powerful that was and how powerful it made me feel that my story and everything that I'd been through could help other people. And that is ultimately what led me to getting better and to stop attempting suicide. I would say that it does get better, but that it doesn't get better right away. I think we all expect this quick fix and this magic pill, and especially when you're suicidal, you wish that you could wake up the next day and your problems aren't there. But it will get better, and it's just reaching out to the right people, and sometimes they're hard to come by and it will take a while. But like for me, it took 6 years to find the right person who supported me and who listened to my story. So as if the people in your life right now aren't helping and providing the support that you need, reaching out and finding someone else and doing what I did, sharing your story, because if you can help just one person, what that does back for you is life-changing. I think we're all worth help, and you don't realise that at the time. I didn't realise that I was worth help until years after I even stopped being suicidal, because my worth in the world was really low. But I think I found the right person that listened and that opened up conversations and that allowed me to share my story, and that really helped me. But for reaching out, I think it's really hard because sometimes you don't find the right person, And I've reached out to organisations and helplines and I have been turned away. And they've phoned ambulances or police even before attempts have happened out of concern, whereas that's not what I needed at the time. It was to talk and it was to listen, and they didn't provide that. But when I found the right person, I could phone them and talk to them and tell them my story, and they listened and supported and were incredible. And since that person, the amount of people that have then come along that I can phone and that I can talk to if I'm struggling or feeling a bit low and not really sure how to cope with these emotions, because when you're suicidal for 6 years, that's all you can think about. You don't know how to then, when you're not, deal with the emotions that come after it. And that was a massive struggle for me. I didn't know what it was truly like to be depressed or anxious or angry or sad or happy. And I was conflicted if I was happy as well. Like I didn't know that was okay. Like, oh, I'm supposed to be struggling and I'm suicidal, but I can enjoy this moment or I can enjoy this event. That was really hard, but you can be suicidal. A lot of people live every day with those thoughts, but they cope with them because they've got the help and support that they need. I have the most amazing friend group that come from every avenue of life, and it's incredible because when I was suicidal through those 6 years, I really struggled to maintain relationships because I was depressed and suicidal, and my priority wasn't to keep those friendships. I didn't know how to communicate to my friends, I'm not doing okay. And you didn't want to burden them with your story, and if they've heard it once before, you don't want to tell them again that that's the same thing that you're struggling with. You're kind of expected to get over it. But now the friends that I have will listen to the same story 100 times if I wanted to tell it, and they're there. And I can tell them anything. We can go out and do things that normal people do that I never thought. I never thought, even 4 years ago, just around my last attempt, that I had friends that I could just chill in their house or my house or go on nights out or meals. I never thought that was a possibility because I couldn't articulate how I was feeling, but that's okay. And there's a lot of pressure on yourself to be okay in front of your friends. Those are the people that you shouldn't be okay in front of. Those are the people that you should be able to tell what you're going through, and they'll be there if it's the right people. I've lost a lot of people that I thought were friends, and that was a good thing because they weren't, because they thought I was a burden and that my story was too much. But the people that I have now would listen to my story 100 times if I needed them to. It's okay to change your mind. And it's hard because you think you're weak by saying, I'm suicidal, and then retracting that and saying, but I'm not. But that is the most strongest thing that I've ever seen anyone do. And on my last attempt, that's what I did. I changed my mind. And we have to be more open and say that that's allowed, that you're allowed to change your mind. Like, people want you here in this world. I've seen the devastation that suicide causes. I've lost friends to suicide, and it is heartbreaking knowing that people are dying, that they don't want to be on this planet anymore. But I've seen people that have died by suicide who have been too scared to say to anyone out loud that they've changed their mind, but that have then typed in a message or sent it to someone and it's been too late. So that it's okay to change your mind.